Yes, my online family, once again, we are back bringing to you matters from the community that we think you should know about. We amplify matters that matter to you most. If you're there and you're thinking of, and for you think area, education is the only thing that matters to you, Mukwano, there are very many things you should know about, some of which you can greatly contribute. Today on the People's Mic, we are having Chairman LC3 Kilembe division for municipality. We are specifically discussing on how he navigated. We are discussing the process, what he went through, how it was bringing back Kilembe Mines Hospital. Most of us know how it was a hard, though he was arrested at some point for demonstrating, but hopefully we are going to get what you need from him. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Was that brief introduction about you enough?
Yes, it is enough and precise because it depicts exactly what happened and what some of us have gone through. My name is Bomera Richard. I am the chairperson of LC3 for Kilembe Division, like you have
Congratulations
proudly
once
put it.
again.
And I've been,
Second term.
yes, please. And before I became the chairperson of LC3, I was a district councillor representing that same area for 2 terms in the district council. And before I became so, I was a teacher within the same area. So I have that area at my heart, and I have a lot of experience about it. In addition to these two key responsibilities, being a district councillor and being maybe a chairman of the CCD,
Korea.
I am also the spokesperson of the NRM for Kasese municipality. And I'm also the spokesperson of the NRM for Kilembe division. And then I am the chairperson for the Nyamwamba Catchment Management Committee.
The
Yes,
committee that is
yes,
responsible for
for the Nyamwamba,
making
for
sure the
exactly,
floods no. Oh, I
exactly.
have the
So
right person on the show.
yes, please. So I am the chairperson for that committee. Those committees were established by the Ministry of Water and Environment specifically to create a link between the communities and the
And the
government.
government.
You
Yeah.
see, previously it used to be a very big gap from the community to the government. So government thought of it wise that it brings services nearer to the people and also to get clear information from the ground and the people who are directly affected.
Yes,
So it had to
yes.
create those catchment areas. So I
They
am
were right
responsible
because
exactly.
the first floods of 2012,
Yes, and 13.
and yeah, 13,
Yes,
we had people who we saw people personally that
yes,
benefited or that received some, should I call them funds,
yes,
the help that came from the donors,
yes.
even when they were not affected.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I am a chairperson for that committee. It is a big area. It covers a big area because we have about 12 sub-counties that are under the Nyamwamba catchment area. And I am also the chairperson of the advisory committee for the implementation of the Be Safe project,
That
which
is
is also helping the people living along River Nyamwamba and River Nyamwasani. It is being implemented by two universities, that is the Mountains of the Moon University
oh,
and also Uganda Matters University. It is being funded by some universities in Belgium. So that is also a project that is intended to help the people who are living along those two rivers. We are thinking of developing a value chain in one of the crops that the people are engaged in.
that
And
is
we have, for us in Nyamwamba, we have selected the mangoes and avocados. And the reasons are, in the valley of Nyamwamba, we have so many mangoes and avocados, and at least they are the crops the people can engage in without encountering a lot of challenges and also incurring a lot of expenses. So I am always in the community, and basically that is what I do. Thank you. You You're welcome. You're welcome.
I should have said,
You're welcome. Yes.
I want to congratulate you probably on what you started. That at least the last year,
Yes.
2025,
Yes.
we didn't witness so much flooding.
Yes.
Could uh, could that have been part of the catchment plan that just started?
Yes, of course. There were two activities that we were doing under that catchment plan. One was the restoration of the vegetation, because we realized that the Nyamwamba flooding, it was receiving a lot of water, which was coming from the uphill, from the communities. And the reason was that the communities had made these hills very bare because of agriculture and also charcoal burning and many other related activities that promote the human livelihood needs. So what we did, we requested the government, and the government was responding positively. They gave us money. We procured the farms, companies. We had the WWF. We had the Muvoko Integrated Farmers Association, MIFA. We had the Natural Resource Defense Initiative, NRDI. Those three farms were given contracts to specifically mobilize people, sensitize them on how to plant the trees, and also supply them with the seedlings, and also help them in planting those seedlings at a cost of around 14 billion. And that project is there. And at least when you move around the hills, you are able to see the trees. They are mixed, both fruit trees and also other shady trees that you can use to get timber. And I believe they have made a contribution, because we planted them from 2022 to 2023. So we spent
Because
2 years
last
planting.
year I didn't.
Exactly.
We didn't have any
Yes. So
floods for
they have
sure. We
played
didn't
a
have.
very big role through conserving the water. And then the other activity that we're involved in was the restoration and the stabilization of the river bank, which we are calling desilting, and also construction of gabions. That's why you were able to see that the hospital this time it was not affected much.
Yeah.
And also Bulembia Division headquarters, Kilembe Mines offices, Kilembe Secondary School, Mount Rwenzori Secondary School. Those were the institutions that could severely get affected.
Yes.
Road Barrier Primary School, Katiri Primary School, Chanjuchi,
At least for the
Masule,
first 1 year.
all those.
Congratulations.
Yes, so we at least did some work, and I can proudly and precisely say that at least they have stood the test of time.
Let's talk about the harsh floods that happened 2013,
Yes.
2011.
Yes.
I don't know if 2020 in lockdown we had floods too, but
Yes.
the most devastating ones were the first ones where the hospital was displaced. We had so much mourning from the people of Kilembe. We so much stories, so much displacements, very many stories that we had from the people, especially families that were displaced in the hospital. How did that affect the people of Kilembe?
Basically, the most devastating floods, like you rightly put it, have been 3.
Yeah.
2013, that is the 1st May 2013.
I remember.
And then 6th and 8th of June 2014. And then 8th of May 2020, when we were in the lockdown. First of all, Kilembe area was under mining. And you know that in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, Kilembe mines was very active, copper mining was very active. And alongside the copper mining, they were also managing the river. How were they doing it? First of all, they could desilt the valley, remove all the silt and the boulders, put them aside, and at least could create a valley. And they were doing periodic cleaning of that valley. And
Silence these kids.
the periodic cleaning of the valley stopped in 1980. That is when active mining activities also stopped. Why did the active mining activities stop? There were two reasons. In 1971, when Idi Amin Dada took over government, when he overthrew Dr. Milton Obote.
How old were you by then?
Of course, I think I was either very young
Very
or
young.
yes, I was very young. But my parents, because they expressed this, they used to tell us all these stories. So when Amin took over government, he chased away all Canadians, Indians, and I think all Europeans. He only left here the Arabs. Why? They were Muslims. The rest, he chased them away, and that's how Kilembe mine is also closed, because it was entirely being managed by the Canadians. Now, when Amin was chased away, 1979, by a combined effort of the Tanzanians and Ugandan forces, including President Yoweri Museveni. He was part of that team that chased away Amin, 1979. The Canadians had left, and by that time, the copper prices had gone down.
Yeah.
And therefore, those two major reasons led to the closure of Kilembe mines. So, because of that, definitely the government, they didn't have the capacity at that time, because there were political turmoil situations and also the lack of market for copper. So, government now embarked on care and maintenance for Kilembe mines. And of course, the government was not doing a lot. And remember that Kilembe was a private business company owned by government. How did the government own that business company? Of course, it was through conversation. When the Canadians were chased away, they went into the Commonwealth Court and sued the government of Uganda for unlawful expulsion. So, because of that, they won the case, and the government was compelled to compensate them. So that's how government now
was Kilembe Mines Hospital.
Exactly. Oh. So everything that was in the hands of Kilembe Mines were now in the hands of government. But then you know that during that time, government, they didn't have the capacity to manage some of the parastatals. So what happened was that most of the things for government were sold as scrap. That's how the equipments that used to maintain River Nyamwamba to control the floods were also sold as scrap, and therefore the river was left at its own. So you can imagine from 1977, when Idi Amin Dada expelled the Asians and the Europeans, up to 2013, all of the silt that had accumulated in the river valley had actually created no valley. So there was no valley. So when it rained, and up in the mountains, there had also been wildfire. Wildfire in the mountain, in the Rwenzori Mountain National Park. Yes, we don't know what caused it, but at least that fire burning spent 40 days. So we experienced a lot of burning in the mountains that lasted for 40 days. And therefore, there was no vegetation up hills. So when it rained in 2013, definitely all the water that accumulates up in the mountains had to just fall to River Nyamwamba and also to the other smaller rivers that feed into River Nyamwamba. So Nyamwamba, that's how it burst its banks, and definitely because there was no valley downstream, so it was able now to devastate the whole area. That's how we lost the first phase of Kilembe Mines Hospital, the nurses' quarters, doctors' quarters. Those ones were washed away in 2013. We also lost a lot of housing units for Kilembe Mines in Chanzuchi, Kanyaruboga, Ulembia, and also we lost lives at that time. And the bridges, I remember we lost the Chanzuchi Bridge, we lost the Masule Bridge, we lost
I can remember.
So we lost about 7 bridges one day. And that's when we now appealed to government. Government came in, organizations like MTN Uganda came in, organizations like Bela Uganda came in, and they supported us. So they were supporting basically the hospital and also the schools. And the government, they reconstructed the bridge of Chanzuchi.
The only
And
constructed one.
yes, and because government had not worked on the river valley, when it came back in 2014, it did the same havoc. And in 2015, government contacted the government of the Republic of Egypt. You know that River Nyamwamba comes from Monte Rwenzori, it feeds into Lake George, it crosses over Lake George through the Kazinga Channel, feeds into Lake Edward, now it crosses over to Ruizi and also Kajera, and then it feeds into Lake Victoria. Actually, it is part of the river that forms River Nile. So the people of Egypt, because they depend on River Nile for irrigation, they realized that their water was becoming little. It was no longer supporting the irrigation system in Egypt. So they contacted the government of Uganda, asking them what happened to the river. And you know that there is an establishment of an organization called the Nile Basin. The Nile Basin organization has the countries of Uganda, South Sudan, and Egypt, and many others. So Uganda was like, we experienced a lot of disaster, and it has made a contribution in stopping the flow of rivers from the mountains up to River Nile. So the government of Egypt was able to fund the government of Uganda. I don't remember the exact amount of money that was spent, but at least some desilting was done. That desilting had issues. That's why when the disasters came again in 2020, they were able to cause more havoc. I think there was corruption because the government of Egypt was the funder, was the contractor, was the supervisor, was everything. So it happened for 2 years. There was a desilting. They even constructed some bit of small gabions. Now, when the floods came again in 2020, those floods were able to wash away everything. And that's when Kilembe Hospital was devastated severely. Yes.
Do you think it was the distilling that helped prevent these floods up to now?
By 2020. The ones we did in 2023, it is the one helping. So now, because of that experience, we had gained that experience, we had seen what had happened with the works that were done by the government of Egypt. That's when the government of Uganda secured the funds from the World Bank. Now in 2022, we are now able to change from the method of Egypt. We changed now from the construction of the wire mesh gabions to now concrete. So as I talk now, we put up concrete gabions at the critical points, like I have mentioned, the hospital and so on. That's why now we are able to have a sleep. Yes, now about the Kilembe Hospital, when it got affected in 2020, of course in 2013, only the nurses' quarters was washed away.
Affected,
2014, slightly a few infrastructure. Now 2020, that's when it got severely affected. The total ward, the whole of it went. The mortuary and the other 2 wards, the special wards, and the whole hospital was covered with the silt. So at that time,
it's okay, you can feel free if it is important.
Like I did mention, in the early 90s, the government was not having the capacity to run its parastatals. So that's when it brought on board the public-private partnership. And through that public-private partnership, the Kasese diocese, Catholic diocese, was now able to partner with the government in the management of Kilembe Hospital. So when it got devastated by the disasters in 2020, the bishop of the diocese was like, no, let's relocate the hospital to a safer place. And so he carried all the equipments for Kilembe Hospital to the diocese of Kasese. And the hospital was there. Unfortunately, when the hospital started, I think, settling, I suspect that a number of interests were developed because it being
Let's first
yes,
uh, okay, before we get there, we shall get there.
yes,
Let's first talk about how the situation was when the people of Kilembe had that the only hospital
yes,
that is in the area
yes.
is being taken away from them. How did they cope with that change?
First of all, the management of the hospital, like I already said, was by the bishop, very respected person, and they know that what is spoken by a bishop
It's final.
is final and it must remain
Final.
final and pro people. So initially, because it was running up and down, everybody was like, where do we go? Where there is safety? They accepted and were like, okay, since the hospital, they are taking it temporarily. Even in the letter which the bishop wrote to ministry, requesting the ministry to allow him relocate the hospital, that word was in bold, temporarily, as Kilembe Mines, of course, and the community would remain now organizing a safer place where the hospital would be. So the people were comfortable with it. But then later on, when they realized that what was being spoken changed, then they started rioting. Why did they riot? Because they were experiencing a lot of diseases and deaths. You know, Clemens was situated in that area in such a way that it used to accommodate people from the mountains.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we experienced a lot of challenges. People could carry patients from the mountains on stretchers. Now they reach where the hospital was.
There's
And
no
after
hospital.
reaching there, they
They
were
get
having
about
no
that.
help.
Yeah.
I remember they could even contact us, call police to come and pick us because they knew that police was the one having vehicles which must have fuel 24/7. Police also says we are not able. Sometimes we could call on the mayor. The mayor could come with his personal vehicle. We put in patients. Others die on the way. So the people were like, why are we experiencing this when we had our hospital? And yet government was working on the disaster.
The disaster.
And now the point was, why don't we have our hospital back? And that is when now we as leaders were approached by the community and we approached the district, we also went to the ministry. They were like, the people are demanding for their hospital. That is when we resolved that we take back the hospital. I personally got involved. We engaged the Kilembe Mines. Kilembe Mines gave us infrastructure, housing infrastructure. We made some kind of renovations and so on. And the Kasese Municipal Council was very well, was positive. They went, you know, by law, it is supposed to assess any building to host any services. So they went and assessed the area. They found that the area was hospitable. So we had said that the people demanded for the health services to be taken back.
After how long
of
had
course,
that been?
That is after 2 years, from 2020, now 2021, they started demanding for their services. And of course, they had the new leaders elected. Remember, we had just carried out elections. So they were like, I think the old leaders were part of this. Now that we have new leaders, can we begin from there? And we joined the community. We moved to the district, we moved to the ministry, and all of them were like, why not? Take back your hospital. But then we got resistance from the diocese, the Catholic diocese. They were not willing to release the hospital equipments.
Why?
And they could write to us even letters.
They wanted you to have the hospital without the equipment.
We don't know. Because the Catholic had established another hospital.
Yeah,
In Kilembe's hospital,
Hey,
there had been
so
established
it was
another
initially
hospital.
supposed to be
Yes.
Kilembe Mines Hospital.
Exactly.
Most
That
of the
is,
people didn't know
even
that.
the posters and so on at the diocese, that is what it was reading. Even the cards, patients' cards, they were reading Clemens Hospital. And even everything, even the email registration and so on, it was Clemens Hospital. But then later on, we realized that another hospital had been formed into Clemens Hospital called Mount St. Mary's. that is what we realized. The email for Kilembe's hospital had been changed to Mount St. Mary's. And also the history. Even we have brochures, we have books where they were saying that Mount St. Mary's is formerly Kilembe Hospital, which was established in 1954. And it has been undergoing transformations, including shifting from Kilembe to the diocese. And
so
that
the picture was so the picture was like, okay, Kilembe Mines Hospital is no longer going to be in Kilembe. Now we have Mount St. Mary's, which is in Kasese municipality.
Actually, they were saying Kilembe Hospital is no more. It has changed into Mount St. Mary's.
I can't get why people write
and we have letters written and signed.
How did that?
And they finally, when the community now was like, after hearing that, they were like, no, we can't accept this. And as leaders, now the community were like, lead us to where we know our equipments went. Because we were in touch with the Kilembe Mines, which is the sole owner of Kilembe Mines Hospital. We were in touch with the ministry, which oversees activities of health. Then we were like, who changed this? And we looked at the memorandum of understanding.
And who guaranteed that? Because by the time they change it, they should have approached you people in the first place. To say, now, here is the deal. We are changing this to this.
Kilembe Mines as a company, it had a board. Now, we even went ahead and looked at the memorandum of understanding between the three parties, the government of Uganda,
Kilembe
Mines, and then the diocese. And every organ had its own responsibilities. Now, under the diocese, it was only stated clearly that the diocese would only offer management services. Then the government of Uganda was to offer financial services, drugs, and also staff. Then Kilembe Mines Limited, as a company, was to offer housing infrastructure and utilities. Then we were like, now, which board sat to give away this? The ministry said we are not aware. Kilembe said we are not aware. And now the community who are the beneficiaries of the services, they were like, let's move on. And that's how we leaders, we joined that. And I think, I don't know what caused that, but I think some people were more known than the others. And that's how some of us got arrested. I was arrested. The mayor was equally arrested. We were put in jail. And now the community demonstrated. You can imagine about 3 sub-counties walking, going to demand for their leaders, whom they think have been arrested for no reason. And I think at that time, the police heard of what was going to happen because very many people would die.
Before rioting, had you approached the diocese?
Yes.
In peace, had you tried to have a dialogue with them and sit down?
We even went to the ministry. We engaged the district. The district also wrote to the diocese.
What was the bishop's response to you people?
It was adamant. In the first place, when he received the first letter from Kilembe Mines, the owners of the hospital, he responded. He said, I'm going to hand over. I'm going to give you back your what? Your hospital.
And then you waited.
And he even set a date in a letter. Now, before that date, he wrote another letter. He said, I'm not ready. I am not around. I've gone to Germany. Now, he set another date that maybe at such and such a time. We waited. Now, when that date came to pass, he wrote another letter. Now addressed it to the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Health, saying, I'm not ready to hand over. I have withheld these equipments because I encountered the dates. And the dates were written in the letter totaling to 219 million. But the 219 million, now we looked at the value of the equipments. A omnibus, a vehicle, which was new. If it costs little money, it's around 80 million. A double cabin pickup, very new, which costs around, I think, 150 million. So only 2 vehicles were catering for the 219 million, if it was barter trade kind of exchange. And the community were aware of this. X-rays, scans, beds, what? The list is long. I have a copy of the list, which was compiled by the medical superintendent as they were preparing for handover. Because we were given letters, attached on the letters were the lists of the equipments that were brought from And now we started now demanding for accountabilities. We're like, now that the diocese incurred a debt equivalent to 219 million, can we look at the audit? Government was sending 700 million per year to the hospital. 300 million and 350 million was going for medicines in the Uganda, the joint medical stores.
Yeah.
The 350 million was going for administrative costs. You look at that. Now we looked at the patients' contributions.
Yeah.
Then we're like, now let's look at first of all the dates were that water, electricity, and I think other sundries. That is what accumulated to 219 million. They were broken down in the letter, written by the author of the letter. Now, after receiving that, we went and complained to the ministry. Well, can we have investigative audit? We look at how much has been sent in the period of from May 2020 to May 2022. Those are 2 years. We look at how much drugs have been sent. We look at how much the patients had contributed. And that one sparked off now the war. That's when they were like, these people should be arrested. So they arrested us. And up to now, I can say that the case has never been disposed of. Because we were reporting on bond. Until we asked them, until when. So we're like, if we have a case, go to court. And we looked for the complainants in that case. We didn't see.
You didn't see.
The arresting officer was the RPC. The orders for arrest was the RDC. And then some other big people whom I may not even mention. But for us, we're like, take us to court so that we can argue the case with the complainant. The complainant was not there. So that's how the ministry was like, okay, now you take back the what? The hospital.
Without equipment?
Without equipment. We took the hospital without equipment. They only gave us the staff. The staff. The list of beds which were released from Kilembe to the diocese was around 160. I can tell you, they gave us scrap 30.
Where were the others?
Now, MTN Uganda had given us 100 beds in addition to the 160 that were brought. And the beds engraved Kilembe Hospital.
Oh God.
Yes.
Meant for Kilembe Mines.
Even today, when you go to the diocese, to Mount St. Mary's, all the equipments you'll find there, they are engraved Kilembe Hospital. You can find time and go and check.
So
it became a drama. So for us, we were like, now the community members, because we had the staff, and at that time the money, and I can tell you that the money even which had been released on the account was frozen. Now at that time, government had given us, like I told you, it used to send 350 million. They had given us around 300 million, which was on the account, and it was also a battle. It was a battle to secure that money. The matter even went to parliament. Some leaders were like, that money should not go to Kilembe Hospital. So we used that money to procure medicine that ran the hospital for 1 year.
Like what about the other equipment, the scans,
the other equipment, the scans and everything? They are there even now.
So what is in Kilembe?
So what we did
get the other equipment?
There was a program called the Result-Based Financing. It is a government program. It gave us around 100 million. So we used part of the money to procure beds. Good enough, we had another project. Up to now, it is still there. Supporters, they are donors. It is called the Daktar Project of Belgium. It is what used to fund the hospital even before, and it is what is funding the hospital today. So when we gave them this narrative, they were like, no, for us, we cannot continue funding Mount St. Mary's. We are funding Kilembe. Even some of the equipments, they came themselves and picked them from Mount St. Mary's.
Oh.
Yes. The autoclave machines and many others. You shall go to Kilembe and we'll show you. I think
we need to have a documentary.
So we did that. Then from there, the same Daktar project now started fundraising in Belgium. They were fundraising, raising money. They send it to us. We buy scans. We buy microscopes. We buy. Today, if you reach the Kilembe Hospital,
I reached there.
You will find it stocked. We have bought beds, we have bought scans, we
And
have
that's in
bought
a period of
microscopes.
2 years,
Yes,
3 years,
yes.
two
Now
years.
3 years. Now
Oh,
3 years.
dear.
Yes. We are even constructing
Yeah, I
because
see.
the other all the site, some people went there and accused us in the ministry. They were like, that site should be abandoned. And the Ministry of Water said we needed to condemn that site. So we left it. We are now in a new site, which was a township given to us by Kilembe Mines. We carried out renovations, like you already said. And the hospital is now running very, very, very well. Very well. Now, what government they did, I think, I don't know whether it was out of anger or what, they removed the staff. Yes.
So now it is fully private.
Yes. Community.
Community based.
Yes. So government did two things. One, they removed the money.
Why?
And the medicine.
Why was it?
With a letter written by Minister of Health.
You became
I think they were punishing the people.
How do you riot?
They were punishing the people because they wrote a letter and said the money that has been going to Kilembe Hospital should be going to Mount St. Mary's. They wrote to the town clerk as the accounting
Did you tell
officer.
them? Did you reply and say, but Kilembe has more vulnerable people than people in the municipality?
They said the government is government. It was a directive. And now the other DC was on the far front of implementing that letter. The letter was written by the permanent secretary in the middle of the financial year. Said all the money that has been put on the account of Kilembe Hospital
should be frozen.
Remove it, post it to Mount St. Mary's. That is what the letter was saying. And the other this was like, now that government has written this, can I have the money transferred? And we told the town clerk, were like, it's okay. Transfer the what? Transfer the money. They transferred the money from Kilembe Hospital account to Mount St. Mary's. And all this is a situation that will have to motivate even donors to come, because we told them about all this. That's when now they were sending in money.
So you're now surviving on
donors. Exactly, and the patients' contributions. So we sit. So government first of all removed the money and the medicine because they were coming alongside each other. Like I told you, 700 million, 350 million for medicine, 350 million for utilities, administrative costs. So when the permanent secretary wrote a letter, gave a copy to joint medical stores, that the medicine you have in the store that you've been taking to Kasese, to Kilembe, distributed it to other health facilities.
Why are you so riotive and stubborn to a level that they had to withdraw all that?
We don't know. We don't know.
Now we don't
So
know.
the PS said,
should we
give out the medicine, take them to other health facilities, which had medicine, remember. And the list was a bit long. Kanamba, Musieneni Niwera, Mariba, I think Owachi. I am telling you that the health facilities, and then the health facilities in the catchment where Kilembe Hospital was serving people, none of the health facilities got a single medicine from that one they were distributing. That was supposed. So it was just a punishment to the people. And we moved around.
Twice?
We don't know. We moved around telling our people, accept the punishment.
We shall be well.
Be resilient. We shall be well. And they accepted. So we told them, please, now that they have taken the medicine, they have taken the money, they also took the staff. Rukoki was still a health center for, but I can tell you, if you knew the number of health workers they took at Rukoki, Railway Health Center 3, they put 2 doctors. By then, even now, the ministry policy has not yet been implemented that a medical doctor, someone who operates, can be at Health Center 3 because they are not theater and so on. But they put them at railway. Why? They were removing them from Kilembe. Reason? Punishing the community of Kilembe. And we accepted. We had a man called Dr. Warren.
I remember him.
I don't know where he came from. The man was a resilient man. He was like, I will suffer with the people because I was called to serve. I have always heard the nurses sing. I have always heard the nurses sing. There is an anthem which they say they were called to serve.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Warren was called to serve. There were nurses like Sister Antoinette and the others.
Antoinette of Kagando.
Yes, I mean she's called not Antoinette. She's called I'll remember the name. There was another old woman who had retired called Perish. They all came. We mobilized the children of Kilembe. I remember Dr. Musondolia, who had just finished his course at Mbarara University. I remember Dr. Morris, Dr. Boris, so
Boris,
many,
Dr.
so many
Boris
children of Kilembe. We mobilized them. They were coming to give free services because there was no money. The communities are vulnerable, and they are in their need of health services, and the hospital is there. Now, what do? We had procured some drugs using the other man we were fighting for. So they came to give and offer free services for at least close to 1 year. And now today, we have
You can
now
mention them to the camera if you don't mind.
Yes.
Dr. Boris.
Yes, Dr. Boris, Dr. Rogers, Dr. Msondolia, and
Warren.
Yes, and many nurses who don't count. All those are children of Kilembe. Those even who were on payroll somewhere, they could offer
to
come. He's fixed somewhere, but he could come to offer services. Now, so we started mobilizing the community that these ones are here for just a short period of time. Please, you can, we can be organizing some funds and so on. Now, as I talk today, the communities are aware that when they come to the hospital, they are supposed to pay. But then they are affected by the poverty levels.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that.
Poverty
if
levels.
It didn't affect the
They are now affected by poverty levels. And I can tell you that in Kasese district, among the private health facilities, Kilembe Mines Hospital is the cheapest. You go to Rukochi, it is government 100%. They are now receiving around 700 million per year. I think even more than that. But you go and interview the patients who are going to Rukochi, they will tell you. They will tell you. I should not speak for them.
No, we've had these stories there. No, they're in communities. We have to speak them out.
Yes. So they will tell you. Of course, the health workers are overwhelmed
by the numbers of
people, and sometimes they are not there. And most 90% of the health workers working in the government have private facilities, health facilities.
It's not bad, though.
And Rukoki has no means of transport. In Kilembe, we had the omnibuses that was transporting staff. In Rukoki, it is not there. So, like any other person, sometimes the health worker will say, "I have no."
Did they give you back that bus?
No. They were taken to Kampala. I even have photos where they took them to the band, to the Chibanda, for sailing. I have photos. We even went to police.
Couldn't you plead with them and tell them, Bavojo, at least if it wasn't for the leaders?
I am telling you, when I speak about this issue of Kilembe's hospital,
it's so emotional. It's an emotional story.
So vehicles were taken to Kampala. We followed them. We registered the case here at the RPC, at police. We told them our vehicles have been taken in unclear circumstances. We even produced the documents. They were procured in the names of Kilembe Mines Hospital.
Not by government.
Not by government. The money was being collected from the patients of Kilembe, engraved Kilembe Mines Hospital, but because they were bought by the management at that time, the management took them to Kampala for exchange. As I speak now, there are 2 new vehicles, an omnibus and a double cabin, which were exchanged with the other ones. Because we had told people that if we see them on the road, we rather all die, but we must impound the vehicles. So this is what happened in white and black. So what the community of Kilembe has passed through, you can't withstand.
But you're now seeing the light. How are you balancing being a member and a flag bearer of the National Resistance Movement to being a loyal citizen, serving your community and making sure that they receive the right services?
Yes, politically, NRM was going to face it rough in this district because of those issues. And now our people are very clever. They were following us, we were involved in all of this. They decided to punish whoever was involved in that. Yes.
During elections.
Yes. They punished them. They all lost. Whoever was involved in the matters of punishing the people of Kilembe lost.
Now you know.
Lost. So those ones who passed, that's why in Bulembia, like Bulembia division, today, they voted me, they voted Charles Kahendu, who is opposition. They voted Ferigu, who is NRM. And they were saying, we are voting for the hospital. Yes. Now, in Central Division, where you see anybody passing of NRM was in support of the people. Those things came alongside each other. As they were punishing the people of Kilembe, they were chasing people in Katado. Yes, intending to displace them, to chase them away from the land. And myself, having been in Kilembe, in Kilembe division, which hosts Kilembe mines, I was deeply involved in the matters of Kilembe mines. Now Ferigo, who is a member of parliament, he stood on the floor of parliament, defended the Kilembe people, and also was against chasing away the people from the land. Now, Mayor Charles Kahindo was doing the same. So the people were voting actions. They were voting actions.
They were not voting money, like we know.
No. So whoever came under the umbrella of somebody who played the role in punishing the community also faced it rough. Yes. So that's how we have been able to balance NRM with the people's aspirations. And that's what happened.
Wow.
Yes.
Such a story that I can imagine if there were families, the number of people that died because the hospital was shifted from
Yes, they are there. The list is long. I witnessed 3 people dying at the area where the hospital was. The community just bring them. They say we have no money. Our hospital was here. They put the person there and he dies. I witnessed 3 people dying.
And you try to call the other the people that you thought worked.
Yes. We even took pictures. Some of these pictures we presented them as we were petitioning.
I think we should have a documentary of the former Kilembe Mines Hospital site and the new Kilembe Mines. We can have a documentary and
you are most welcome.
Combine that.
So you can see what is happening. Now disaster affected the people of Kilembe. When it came to Kanyangea, people were affected by the same disaster. And now government looked for money to reconstruct Kilembe hospital, which money was taken where we don't know. The same government now looked for money to procure land for the victims in Kanyangea, procure the land in Muhocha. As I speak now, from 2020, people are still in the camp.
Yeah.
Yes. And the government issued out money. They procured the land. The land is non-existing.
The land has been procured, but you don't know where the land is.
They procured the land which was just air. And now as I speak, so that's why I was like, we are balancing the NRM. Currently, the people of Kasese are voting issues. You could be in NRM, yes, but when they know that you are fighting for the right cause, they will vote you. Now, you saw what happened in Songwara South. Changes. You saw what happened in Bukonzo West. Changes. You saw what happened in Bukonzo East. Changes. So all of that is just because people are voting.
What's the future of Kilembe Mines? Let's look at the future of Kilembe Mines Hospital now. Do you plan to appeal to the government and have a receipt, have a dialogue with them, and have them get involved in activities again?
We are doing that. One, Kilembe Mines as a company, which we call Kilembe Mines Limited, changed, and the government created an umbrella for all mining companies, calling it Uganda National Mining Company Limited. And when we talked to people in the ministry, they told us we need now that the days of Kasese went and the Kilembe is no more, can you get an umbrella of medicine, that is the medical bureau. So we went and talked to the Orthodox Medical Bureau. They accepted us. We already registered as a member of the Orthodox Medical Bureau so that we can be getting medicine from the joint medical stores. Formerly, it was registered under the Catholic Medical Bureau. But because of these other stories, we are now under the Orthodox Medical Bureau. There are only 3, I think, religions that have medical bureaus: the Catholic Medical Bureau, Orthodox Medical Bureau, then you have the Muslim Medical Bureau, and then you have the Protestant Medical Bureau. So there are 4. So we are now under the Orthodox Medical Bureau. They are helping us very well. Every year, the Ministry of Health gives the medical bureaus some simple medicines. They call them anti-malarials. We are receiving those from
So
joint
right now,
medical
Kilembe
stores.
Mines is purely private. Patients are coming in, paying in at OPD, paying in at discharge. Everything is now managed.
So that is one area
and
we
it's
have
more
already
expensive
scored
than
that.
it was before.
No. Actually, it has even become cheaper than what it was before.
Oh, I thought it would be more.
By the time
more
it was still under the management of the diocese.
And
An operation, if you are delivering cesarean section, a patient was paying around 300,000.
How much is it right now?
Today, a patient is paying only 200,000. Yes. We are making a budget that is directly fitting and it is pro people, because we know the
how friendly was it? How friendly was it before the floods, before the displacement? How friendly was the financial state, like the patients coming in and the bills?
Of course,
how friendly was the game?
Those who could manage were paying, but I can tell you that the communities in Kilembe were not affording. You could even find them confiscating the properties of the patient. We were pleading time and again. Here and there, we plead. I thank the medical superintendent by that time. Sometimes we could go to him, we plead. He looks at the person and says, "Okay, I think this one we can just leave." So now for us, we have reduced on the amount. We have reduced from 300,000 to 200,000. Yes, we have reduced. Previously, they used it to charge a ward, I think 10,000 per day. Today, for us, we are charging only 5,000 per day. So we are reducing.
So that's 15K. Okay.
Consultation, it used to be, when you see a doctor, it used to be around 30,000 or 20. For us, we have put it at 15. Yes. And the people are enjoying
before
the services.
Kilembe Mines closing, or after its closing, we had people lose of course, their jobs.
Yes.
People were earning from the mines a few years back.
Yes.
What is the chance that we can restart the mine? What is the potential?
Currently, government has already procured an investor to restart Kilembe Mines in the names of Sarai group of companies. So Sarai is already there. And good enough, it has absorbed the former workers of Kilembe Mines. And we have negotiated with Sarai. We have said we have a health facility here. And good enough, the people of Sarai has employed are community members.
How are you making sure
they are now utilizing the existing hospital? Sarai has come. Government has handed over to Sarai, and now there was one thing to be done: the signing of the joint operation agreement, because it is going to be implemented in partnership with the other stakeholders, which has also been signed. We are now waiting for the official recruitment of the workers. Sarai is already working on accommodation, where to put some key infrastructure. It's already doing that, and we have hope that before this year ends, we shall have had people recruited, and then activities will have to start. And now that's why we are now working on our hospital very, very well. Let people go and work with the Sarai. They get money, then they come and get medicine. They also pay. So I can see the future of that is the strategy we have done. We have involved our people. The Daktari project is there. When we are had up somewhere, we call on them. They bring us assistance, and we move. Lastly,
what is that one project that you, as a group of LC3s, done, and you think if it weren't for it being in a group, you wouldn't have done it successfully?
First of all, the desilting of the river. Like I already said, if I was alone,
someone who does not know what desilting is the
removing of the sand, because the river, when it floods, it brings so many materials: the sand, the stones, the trees, and many others. And the valley gets accumulated with those materials. So removing them is what we call desilting or trenching. Different people use different terminologies according to the engineering language they studied. So if I was alone as a chairperson of LC3 of one division called Kilembe, I wouldn't have managed it. But because we are a big group, we are now having one voice.
That is
And
called.
when I speak, I say I'm speaking on behalf of the catchment. Behind me, there are about 12 chairperson LC3s, and that is the population. And when we say population has spoken, definitely they will have a bargaining power. So that project of desilting the river, we have successfully achieved it because of working together. Two, bringing back that hospital. If it was myself alone, I wouldn't have succeeded. We have 7 sub-counties that were being served by Kilembe Mines Hospital. We have Rukoki, we have Mbunga, we have Kilembe, Kilembe Division, we have Mahango, we have Nyakabengo, and partly Central Division. All those 7 sub-counties were having meetings at Kilembe. And when I speak, we also brought on board the mayor, we brought on board the LC5,
He's such a
we brought
vocal
on board
person.
the MP. So I was leading a team of strong men and women. So when we speak as a group, and that's why we are able to achieve what we achieved. So basically, those 2 projects, I can say I have achieved them because of working together as a group.
Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
honoring this invitation. You can say your last remarks to your people of Bolivia. You can thank them for re-electing you or anything
Yes, please.
concerning that.
I greatly thank the people of Bolivia. First of all, my family of NRM. I thought I wouldn't make it because of the
It
hurdles,
was
because
so
of the
much
clashes we had
against you. Yeah.
with the big people. But my people of Bolivia said, we must stand with you. Actually, they defeated the giants. I cannot call it my win. It was the people's win where people defeated the giants. And money was dished out by those people, but the people, I think, ate the money, but gave me the vote. So I must thank them for that, and I also thank them for being resilient. I also thank the partners, that project, now this new project called Be Safe, and many other projects. I thank the universities, Barara University, Mountains of the Moon, who have come to Bolivia to carry out research, and they gave us literature to read, and at least it can help us to urge out our cases. And I also thank you, media people. You are doing us a very, very, very good service, because I know even what we are doing here will go all over.
Yeah.
So our case has been getting a lot of
Your
support.
voice has finally been heard.
Exactly.